Alright, you guys, so it's my first review of 2016. It's actually a 2015 movie, though. It's not a movie that came out in 2016. But I'm going to be talking about Daddy's Home, the new comedy starring Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg, and Linda Cardellini. Basically, if you guys don't know the plot of this movie, the plot is we meet Will Ferrell, who's married to Velma from Scooby-Doo, and, she's got two kids, a boy and a girl, and he's trying to be the loving stepdad, and the kids really don't really seem to like him all that much. I mean, they start to warm up to him a little bit, and then all of a sudden they get a call out of the blue that their birth father is coming home. And their birth father is played by Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch himself, Mark Wahlberg. He's come to town. He's this cool, wild, bad boy type, riding on a motorcycle with his hair slicked back and all that shit. And Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg compete for the kids' love and the kids' affection, and yeah. That's basically the overall plot of the movie. Now, what I thought of Daddy's Home is, I liked it. I was hoping I would like it a little bit more than what I did, but I'll kind of talk about that. It's not a bad movie. It's very fun comedy. I had a lot of fun watching it. I love the pairing of Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg. Ever since The Other Guys, which I love The Other Guys, I said these two need to do another movie together. They did another movie together. Let's talk about how well it worked out. Like I said, I do like this movie. I like The Other Guys more than I like this one. But this, like I said, it's still a fun film. Still made me laugh. Will Ferrell's character in this movie, he's pretty much playing this kind of a different version of the character that he played in Other Guys. He's the smart, sophisticated one who, you could tell was definitely a nerd in school, and he always got picked on in school and stuff like that. But now he's with this hot chick, and everything seems to be working out for him because he's so smart, and he's living the life right now. He's living the American dream. Let's talk about Mark Wahlberg's character. And Mark Wahlberg in this movie, like I said, he is the bad boy. He is the wild man. So obviously, because Mark Wahlberg kind of is, more towards my attitude and my music taste and stuff like that, I was rooting for Mark Wahlberg in this movie. But there are some stuff that Will Ferrell does that you're like, oh, it all depends on what your taste is and what your sense of humor is and stuff like that. The comedy in this movie, the humor, the jokes, a lot of it is physical. Well, I wouldn't say a lot of it, but there are a few scenes that are strictly physical comedy, and you'll see a couple of them, of those scenes that I'm talking about in the trailer for this movie, like when he's riding on the motorcycle and when Mark Wahlberg's doing the zip line from the treehouse and when Will Ferrell's throwing the basketball and stuff like that. So there is a good amount of physical comedy in this movie. But other than that, most of the jokes and humor is from Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg going back and forth. Now let's talk about their chemistry, because that was a nice segue, wasn't it? Their chemistry, Mark Wahlberg, Will Ferrell, perfect in this movie. They didn't lose their touch in The Other Guys. They worked well then, they work well now. I still want to see a third movie with them together. Like, I think they could become the next best comedy. They could be the next Seth Rogen and James Franco. I'm willing to go that far. Because, Will Ferrell has his little group that he does movies with. I think him and Mark Wahlberg need to do more together. Become like the new comedy duo kind of thing. That's what I want to see. Linda Cardellini in this film. In the Scooby-Doo movie, I always thought Velma was hotter than Daphne. I just did. There's something about Velma in that movie that I'm like, yeah, Velma's hot. And then lately, 2015's been her year. She's been popping up in all kinds of stuff. In Avengers, in this. So, she's been popping up quite a bit. She's doing quite well for herself. I loved her in this movie. She's still hot. She's a mother that, like the kids, is also torn. She doesn't know which side to be on. She doesn't know to be on Will Ferrell's side or to be on Mark Wahlberg's side. There are times where she's more on Will Ferrell's side, and there are times where she's more on Mark Wahlberg's side. And I think it worked really well, kind of get the audience conflicted on which side they wanted to be on, because you can see both points. You can understand each one of their point of views. You can understand Will Ferrell's point of view. You can understand Mark Wahlberg's point of view. It's all a matter of, like I said, your taste. So for me, I was rooting for Mark Wahlberg, and But you have some other people in this movie. You have Thomas Hayden Church, who, and I'm forgetting his character's name off the top of my head right now, but he played a co-worker, or I should say the boss of Will Ferrell in this movie. And Thomas Hayden Church is the character, just as a character alone, he's the one who made me laugh the most out of everybody in the movie. I love, every time Thomas Hayden Church popped up in this movie, I'm like, this scene's gonna be great, this scene's gonna make me laugh, and sure enough, it did. There's another character in the movie called Griff. And Griff, the first time you see him, you think he's just a one joke and then done character. Like, he's in one scene for a joke, and then you figure that was going to be the end of it. It's not. That guy just keeps popping in. He comes popping in out of nowhere. It's kind of, he was just kind of random. He was funny at times. There were other times where I'm like, why the fuck is this dude even here right now? It's kind of one of those kind of things. But Griff, he was a cool character. I didn't mind. All the characters, I would say, are pretty likable. There's really nobody in this movie that you dislike. Like I said, there are times where you like Will Ferrell. There are times where you like Mark Wahlberg. And there's some times where you dislike some of the choices that they make and stuff like that. And be like, okay, maybe that's going a little too far with it. But yeah. There's a cameo in this movie that I won't spoil, but there's one particular cameo in this movie. And when it happens, I don't want to give it away, so I don't want to say what the scene is, but when this cameo shows up in the movie, I had a feeling it was going to be that person making a cameo, but I was like, please don't, please don't, please don't, and then they show up on screen, and it's the person that I was assuming, and I'm like, you fucking did it, fucking really? You gotta have this person make a cameo in the movie? Now, if you haven't seen the movie, I'm not gonna spoil it for you, because I do want you guys to see it for yourself. The part's funny, it's just the person, it's like, come on now, really? But yeah, so Daddy's Home, like I said, I really did like it. I gotta say though, there are a couple problems with this movie. It doesn't start off that good for me, in my opinion. In my opinion, like the first 20 minutes to a half hour is like, I'm not really into it that much yet. Like I said, the first 20 minutes to 30 minutes of this movie, I'm like, so far this is around the C range, somewhere between a solid C and a C+. But then as the movie went on, by the time the movie was over, I walked out saying, okay, it's not a C like it started off, it's more in the B range, and I'll give you guys my final grade when I get done with this review. So yeah, it doesn't start off as, like, it gets better. So if you're bored with it at first, trust me, it gets better. And the jokes, a lot of times in comedies, they'll use a lot of all the good jokes in the trailer. In Daddy's Home, in the trailer, a lot of the good jokes are in the trailer. But there are a couple jokes that are really good that are not in the trailer. So, I mean, most of them are in the trailer, but some of them are not, if that makes any sense. So guys, Daddy's Home, it's fun. I liked it quite a bit. I liked it more the second half than I did the first half. I thought the first half was a little bit weak. Second half I thought got better. The dynamic between Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell, it is awesome. It's great. Like I said, I want to see them do more movies together. Have them be like the next Seth Rogen and James Franco. That's what I want to see. The characters themselves, they're not like the deepest emotional type characters. There's really not much to them. They're kind of typical, bland, But they're fun. It's a fun movie. It's a good time. Great little popcorn comedy. Nothing too special about it, but it's not bad or anything. I'm going to give Daddy's Home a solid B. I think a solid B is pretty fair. Like I said, not the C like I thought it was going to be when it first started for a while. The cameo did kind of piss me off a little bit, just because of who it was. Not because of the scene, but because of who it was. And it is your typical rival comedy. This isn't really spoiling anything. I think we all knew. You know how this movie is going to end. You see them, it's like, oh, they're going to be fighting the whole movie, but by the end, you know what's going to happen. And, yeah, there's no surprise there. That's what happens, really. But the way it happens, I thought was nice. Nicely done, nicely put together. Thomas Hayden Church, definitely for me the highlight of the movie. Mark Wahlberg a highlight, Will Ferrell a highlight, Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell together a highlight. But for me, the biggest highlight was Thomas Hayden Church in that movie. Trust me, guys. Watch the movie. Daddy's Home, solid B. What do you guys think of this movie? If you've seen it, comment your thoughts on the movie down in the comment section below. Like the video, share, and subscribe. Just do it!